In America's past, the kitchen wasn't just a place to cook, it was the beating heart of the home. Long before modern appliances, families relied on sturdy, handcrafted tools that blended tradition with practicality. These gadgets weren't trendy, they were built to last, and every scratch or stain told a story of daily life. Today, we'll revisit 18 kitchen gadgets from Grandma's era that shaped history, created memories, and deserve a comeback. So let's rewind time and rediscover these forgotten heroes of the kitchen. 1. The butter churn. Before butter came neatly wrapped in store-bought sticks, families made it themselves. The butter churn, with its tall wooden barrel and paddle, turned cream into golden butter with patience and muscle. Kids often took turns churning, and when the butter was ready, it wasn't just food, it was an event. Homemade butter had a flavour and freshness no store can match today. 2. Cast iron meat grinder. Back in the day, meat wasn't bought pre-packaged. Families ground their own at home with a heavy, clamp-on cast iron grinder. Sausages, burgers and roasts all started here. These grinders lasted generations, unlike today's plastic gadgets that crack after a year. 3. Hand crank egg beater. Long before electric mixers, a simple hand crank beater whipped eggs, cream and batter into shape. The satisfying rhythm of the crank connected you directly to the food you were making. No plug, no noise, just pure elbow grease. 4. Sausage stuff. In Grandma's kitchen, nothing went to waste. Leftover cuts of meat became sausages using a hand-operated stuffer. Homemade sausages meant you knew exactly what went in. Real ingredients, no fillers, no chemicals. 5. Manual coffee grinder. The morning ritual began with grinding coffee beans by hand. The smell of freshly ground coffee was stronger, richer, and somehow more comforting when it came from a cast iron grinder on the counter. 6. Potato rice. Before instant mashed potatoes existed, a potato ricer pressed hot potatoes into soft, fluffy strands. The result? Perfectly smooth mashed potatoes, the kind Grandma made every Sunday dinner. 7. Glass butter dish with lid. Butter wasn't just stored, it was displayed in elegant glass butter dishes. These little treasures kept butter fresh on the table, ready for every meal, and added a touch of beauty to the kitchen. 8. Milk separator. When families got milk straight from the cow, a milk separator was essential. It spun the milk to separate the cream, which was then used for butter, cheese or desserts. Nothing went to waste. 9. Rolling pin, solid wood. No plastic, no marble, just a sturdy wooden rolling pin that lasted decades. Each dent and scratch told the story of countless pies, cookies and biscuits made with love. 10. Ceramic mixing bowls. Heavy, colourful ceramic mixing bowls were the backbone of the kitchen. They weren't just for mixing, they were serving dishes, salad bowls, and even dough-rising containers. Many families still pass them down today. 11. Hand crank apple peeler and corer. Making apple pies was easier and way more fun with this gadget. Clamp it to the table, stick an apple on the spike, and turn the crank. In seconds, the apple was peeled, cored and sliced. 12. Spice grinder and mortar and pestle. Before pre-ground spice jars filled supermarket shelves, spices were freshly ground at home. A simple mortar and pestle or a cast iron grinder released intense aromas that filled the kitchen with life. 13. Cast iron skillet. No list is complete without Grandma's skillet. Heavy, indestructible, and seasoned over decades, it made everything taste better. Fried chicken, cornbread, even pancakes. Nothing matched that flavour. 14. Enamel colander. Sturdy enamel colanders weren't just for straining pasta. They often doubled as fruit bowls. With their bright patterns and cheerful colours, they brought a little art into everyday cooking. 15. Bread box. Before preservatives, bread boxes were essential. They kept loaves fresh longer and sat proudly on the counter as a symbol of abundance. 16. Nutcracker and nut picks. Winter evenings were for cracking nuts around the table. These tools weren't just about food. They were about family time, storytelling, and laughter. 17. Icebox. Before refrigerators, families relied on an icebox, lined with real blocks of ice. It kept food cool and was often the centrepiece of the kitchen. You knew the Iceman by name, and his visit was part of daily life. 18. Recipe box. Finally, perhaps the most important kitchen tool of all, the recipe box. Handwritten cards, splattered with flour and butter stains, carried generations of wisdom. Each card was a memory. Grandma's secret pie crust, Aunt May's cookies, Mum's Sunday roast. These 18 gadgets weren't just about cooking, they were about slowing down, making food with love and creating memories that lasted a lifetime. Today, kitchens are filled with technology, but sometimes the simplest tools are the ones that bring the most joy. So, which of these old-fashioned gadgets would you love to see make a comeback? Maybe it's the butter churn, the apple peeler, or just the trusty cast-iron skillet. Share your memories in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the American Rewind, where we keep these incredible stories of American innovation alive. Until next time, keep those kitchen memories burning bright.